Hey y'all, welcome to a new series I'll be calling Comics, Propaganda, and Politics. A series in which I talk about key comic book issues and how they relate historically to propaganda campaigns and political movements. In this episode, we'll be talking about Captain America's Golden Age origins. Now, a lot of people think that the origin of Captain America is inherently rooted in political righteousness, as he famously fights fascism by punching Nazis in the face. But people often overlook the fact that at its core, Golden Age comic books were created with heavy government involvement as propaganda campaigns for World War II. And as he exists, Captain America is one of the biggest examples of United States propaganda. When reading early Captain America comics, it's obvious that his imagery is meant to provoke a sense of inspiration and admiration for American war efforts. His valiant feats were a way to boost enlistment in the United States military, with even his 16-year-old sidekick Bucky being a stand-in for the American youth, showing young Americans that when their time comes, their able bodies would be able to contribute towards American freedom. But within the constant glorification of American war efforts, there's a constant omission in the fact that American deployment was focused on the numbers game. For example, on D-Day, Eisenhower was fully aware that up to 75% of the battalion deployed could have died, yet he made the call anyway, sacrificing a lot of American lives. However, you don't see the idea that during World War II, American troops were pawns to be put in the meat grinder to win the grander plan as something commonly discussed in propaganda. Instead, you read a comic book about an American soldier with a flag on his chest and his 16-year-old sidekick who never lose. It paints a false image of what conflict really looks like. And of course, when boosting nationalism to justify war efforts, you need to otherize the enemy. And within these Golden Age Captain America comics, there are a litany of racist depiction of Japanese folk. And this demonization of Japanese people was not just a way to justify war efforts, but also a way to otherize Japanese Americans domestically. Between 1942 and 1945, more than 120,000 Japanese Americans were stripped away from their homes, ripped away from their personal belongings, and placed in internment camps. And the racist US propaganda, much like that found in these Captain America comics, was a way to justify the alienation of Japanese people to the broader American public. And yeah, some people might say, oh, this is just a sign of the times, we don't do that anymore. But when looking at comic book propaganda and the way it villainized Vietnamese people during the 60s, or the way the MCU's early Iron Man film was pretty Islamophobic, and even Marvel's horrendous decision to include Sabra in the upcoming Captain America movie, a character whose existence justifies the colonial apartheid violence of the state isn't real, it becomes painfully obvious that the harmful tropes of propaganda we thought were a sign of the times continue to persist in the comic book space today, and is also a reason why we need to boycott the MCU until they remove the character Sabra from the upcoming Captain America movie. All of this just goes to show why I think media literacy is pretty important when engaging with comic books, because there's a lot of subtext we don't really think about until it's too late. Anyways, that's the video. I'm thinking about making this a series and talking about the origins of different characters. Let me know what y'all think about that idea. As always, hope y'all enjoyed. Thanks for watching.